guys, it's Lauren here with you today. Welcome back to Homeschooling Life. And today I'm going to share all about our schedules for this year. How we're planning our days, our schedule, routine. In the past I've been a little less of a scheduled person. It's been more routines and things like that. But because I have 2 high schoolers, a middle schooler, and 2 in elementary this year, and we're participating in just a lot of outside activities and athletics at our local school district, and so our days are full and they're busy, and I definitely needed more of a routine to follow. And so I did that this year. I typed up some schedules for all of my kids, and even though there are timestamps on these schedules, I'm definitely flexible. We work around what works for us that day, and we just do what we need to do. Some days that does mean following the timestamps because we need to be somewhere at a certain time. And other days we're a little more, relaxed with it, and they just kind of follow it subject by subject. Some days they switch things around a little bit if it works better for that day. But they wanted a routine to follow. We needed, I needed that for my sanity. We needed it as a family as a whole. So I'm going to turn the camera around and show you guys today just the different planners and little schedules I've made to help our days flow this year. Okay, so I have all of our planners and our schedules laid out here on the table for you guys. So I'm going to show you really quickly how we are making this work this year. So I'll start off here with our schedules. Now, I have these hanging on our refrigerator in our house right now. That just seems to work. Everybody's kind of referencing them from there. But I may stick them in their binders eventually. It was kind of just they're learning the routine. They're already, not looking at the schedule all the time anymore. They just needed it as a guide. So this is just an example. This one just says class schedule because this was actually a schedule for all 3 of my younger kids. And you'll see that because I specified different things. So at 7:30, that's about when everybody needs to be up and eating their breakfast for the day. My older ones are sometimes up before then, but they and get started before then. But this is, you need to be up and going by 7:30, and then we have get ready and do your personal Bible study, and then we start school about 8:40, and we are doing our independent work first this year before we do our group subjects. So they jump right in with math. Some days they'll start with a different subject, but most days first thing, and so they just jump right into it and get going. So we have next IEW and language arts. This is for my middle 2 are doing, of my 3 younger kids. The older 2 are doing IEW and a little bit of Good and the Beautiful. We're kind of pulling from Good and the Beautiful for them. And then my youngest is doing just Good and the Beautiful for his language arts. So that's next. Then they take a break. Now some days they push this and their break gets pushed back a little bit, or it's a little shorter depending on how fast they finish things. And then they'll take a break for 30 minutes. Usually I send them outside and we jump back into doing the last few. These things are very independent, so I'm a little more free to help my older ones at this point. This is their fix-it grammar, their spelling, their handwriting and typing, things they can do on their own for a little while. And then my younger one's usually done by first break with his things he needs to do with me. And then we have science on, this would be Mondays we do science, and then Wednesdays usually we do our second day of science at co-op this year. So that is just for those days. And then actually I haven't put it in here yet, but on the other days that we are at home and it's a science day, what I would consider, or we don't have anything, it's a history day and we're going to do that after lunch, as you see, then we may do an art project or nature journaling during this time. So I didn't add that in here. I just kind of stuck science, but this is more of a flex time, and I might choose to do something during that time. Even our read aloud sometimes we might do before lunch if I'm not needing to be helping my older ones or something like that, and it's not a science specific day. Then we have lunch break. Then we'll gather together after lunch. Usually lunch break's not been quite this long. We've kind of bumped into that 12 o'clock hour, and sometimes we get started about 12:45 instead of 1. But as you can see, it was just a guide to kind of get us going this year. And then we do our group time in history. And then this, for my little ones, they're going to go right into their quiet reading time. And then if we haven't done our read aloud yet, usually in this time slot, I'll do our read aloud around 2:30 or 3 to, something like that. So this is actually my schedule for my oldest. Like I said, this is just an example for her. And I did, as you'll see, I'm going to show you both of my oldest and my 9th grader right under her schedule. I flip-flopped, like you'll see, their biology and their Write Shop writing and their Fix-It for the year, because we're doing biology together, but they don't do their daily readings together. They read on their own. So we're sharing a textbook. They have their own, we're using Apologia, so they have their own science notebooks that go along with the biology, but we're sharing a textbook. So in order to do that, I switched them on their times. So they both get up, do their breakfast, get ready. As you'll see, my son, I have him doing things a little bit faster in the morning because he isn't able, where I put literature at the end of the day for my daughter, he has to go to football practice. So she has a little more flex time in the morning than he does. But their day kind of flows the same. They are doing Spanish together, and we usually try to fit that in that hour before lunch. They're doing Spanish together most days. And then after lunch is our history and group study. And if it's not a history day, we do just our hymn and apologetics book together. And it's usually a shortened time. So if they have to finish up something that day, that would be the day they need to do it. So that is the schedules, as you'll see, and I am mostly just available during this time to help everyone as they need it. Now, another thing we're using, and I do want to credit this to Abby at Rooted in Rest. She shared these homeschool checklists that she had made on Canva, and so this one printed wrongly. It was supposed to be a different color, but I printed these for my boys, and I thought I would do these weekly. I would print them off, and every week they would get a new one. But right now, just with our curriculum and what we're using, they don't really need me to do that. They just kind of need a flow for each day, and I did not put a specific day. I did day 1, day 2, day 3, and day 4, because sometimes our days do change. Wednesday is a co-op day, so that day is not on here, but on that day they know that the only thing that they are required to do that day is their math. We do try to get math done, and usually reading. Those are the two. And if they want to work ahead or they want to do more and before we have to go to co-op, they're welcome to. But this is just kind of what they need to do on the daily. You'll see math, Fix-It, IW, handwriting, reading, spelling. That's phonetic zoo, their Bible study. I did add art a couple days, and sometimes we do that together. Sometimes I might just say, pull up a drawing on YouTube, like a drawing lesson, and they'll do that. So that's my 4th graders. My 6th graders looks very similar. And then this is my 2nd graders, and his is pretty simple. He just does math, handwriting, his little Bible study with me, language arts, reading, and his group time with us all together. I just added that. So this is what we're doing right now. We may go back if I feel like they need, with IEW, most days it has, you'll do, one day you do a keyword outline. One day you do well, it's not called sloppy copy. It's just their rough draft, I guess I should say. Write Shop calls it sloppy copy, but that's kind of what we've been referring to it. And then we do the edits together and do a rewrite. And that's just kind of how IEW works. At least in this edition, there may be some extra little things they do as they go on with grammar and different vocab words. But right now, they just know, do the next thing the next day. And the same with math and things like that. So that is how these checklists are working. And then with my older ones, we are actually using planners this year. And every week I just go in and kind of help them fill in their you know, what they need to be doing. That way, we're only about 6 weeks in, but it's just very simple. Very simple. And I write with pencil because sometimes we need to move things around, and we just have what's going to work for that week, what they may need to do, and I just add in. So it's like their literature, their Spanish, the math lessons for that week, fix-it grammar, their history, biology, and their Write Shop writing. And right now this is working well for us. The history is something we do together. So history is actually on Tuesday and Thursday. I put it in, and then they have worksheets that they have to kind of do with that on history. So they just know once we read the history, we're going to do the worksheets. They need to have that done, and then I usually do 2 lessons. Our history curriculum is broken down in it takes about 4 lessons per chapter. So, and you do about a chapter a week. So right now, that's what we're doing. And they'll just I teach 2 of the lessons and 2 of the lessons, so that we are only doing the history together as a group about, you know, twice a week in that setting, and then they're doing all the extra stuff on the other days. So that is pretty much how we are planning our year. We have our schedules, we have our planners, we have our checklist. It's working good. And then everything else I'm just using, and I talked about this in my planning video that I did recently. I'm just using this happy planner, and I'm just taking notes each week in the sections where it's pretty sloppy, guys. It's nothing special. It just helps me keep up with my notes and things I need to do and such. And I just kind of write down different days. Some days I don't write everything down, but it's just helps me remember, keep up with things that I'm going to be teaching, or group things that we want to do together. And that's how we're making it work this year. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. So that's it. Thank you guys for joining us here today. I hope this video was helpful for you and that you were encouraged here. We would love for you to subscribe to our channel. Please like this video, and we hope to see you here again soon. Bye guys.